Hello everyone, welcome back. This episode here will be mainly about chart. It'll be a chart episode. And so this is a Mount Gox. And you can see the price is falling. And if you've been watching my episodes, I did warn you about this downtrending line. And so you see it's pretty severe on Mount Gox, but it really needed the price correction, because if you look at the price now, you'll see that it's still higher, but it's only about a $30 to $40 higher, depending what you're looking at. And that's more in lines of what the price should be when there's a downtrend. So when the prices are from what I've seen, when they're falling, they really get tight on the spreads. Bitstamp, Bitsy, you see they're very similar. They've always been similar. But Mount Gox, you see that the arbitrage, if you're trying to do an arbitrage, it's only a $30, $35. So now, if I don't know if you got the warning from if anybody's on a Mount Gox account, I still have not received my zero point 0.1 Bitcoin, and they haven't answered or replied to my support regarding that matter. So we'll see what happens. We'll give it some time. It's not a big deal. I can always get more Bitcoins from somewhere else. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, if you see my chart analysis, you'll know that I've called this downtrend, and I did mention I've taken out this line here, the support line, because it's not even valid anymore, obviously. And I did have some limit orders here that did hit, and you're probably asking, well, why would I have a limit order? Look at it, it's going down. I even said it was going down. Well, if you watch my previous episodes, you know that I expended some Bitcoins while the prices were high, and in order to cover my I'll have to say it, in order to cover my short, I guess that's the way to say it. But anyways, I expended some Bitcoins, and then on top of that, I replaced them. And what I wanted to do was also have another buy order here, even though I already replaced my Bitcoins. I just want to, if I'm already in it for a certain amount, then I'm just trying to cover my position. What I was able to do is basically expend my Bitcoin, cover my position, and then what I really did was I bought into a position that I covered from myself for, but I really used that Bitcoin to make a purchase. So that's why I would put in a buy or limit order around here. They've actually both hit. Well, I had one right about here, and then another one right about here. Not because any technical chart analysis, but mainly just to increase my purchasing power. So I expended my Bitcoins, I covered my position, and then I would have bought whatever I needed to buy, like groceries. Like, for example, if you're a user, you can purchase Bitcoins to use to another person or vendor who accepts Bitcoins for use. All right. If I read the guidelines clearly, that's kind of what it said. So what I did is I did use my leverage in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has no face value, to make purchases around here and then put a buy order. So what I did is I spent the Bitcoin and then purchased the Bitcoin. Kind of weird. Usually you would purchase the Bitcoin then spend it, but because I'm already in it, alright, I'm already long, I already have skin in the game into the Bitcoin, I spent the Bitcoin and then bought the Bitcoin. Either way, how you see it, I don't know. So that I was explaining, that's a different strategy. And you can use that strategy, same concept, not only buying, gift cards so you could buy groceries or other stuff. You could use that with real assets. Cash out if you can, or exchange your Bitcoin for real estate property. And then if you have enough money, you basically put a limit order of whatever. Limit orders are a little tough if you're buying a house. Depends on how the price of the house. But look at all these. These are all moved by market order. And so someone is pushing a sell on market order and breaking through all the limit orders and basically, how can I say, selling to everybody who has a limit order, and that's what's pushing the price. So several times we got a couple hundred to 200, 300, 400 Bitcoin sales here. And so I guess if you did have enough Bitcoins and there was a mad sell-off, I mean, you could probably hedge your, I guess it's called hedging, but also increasing your purchasing power for the most part. And so taking that strategy, that's great. So y'all knew that this was going to hit. And matter of fact, I like to make a really good argument that what you saw right here was a real true price action on Mt. Gox versus the other exchanges. So if you look at this, it did hit the hard resistant line and then bounced down very violently, but still bounced down, which I was expecting. I even forecasted it would go, and not only would it hit, but it would go down further. But well, I forecasted as one of the possibilities. I knew if it didn't break through this resistant line, it would fall. But look at this chart in comparison to some of the other charts, and this is kind of why I think Mt. Gox is more reflective of the true price action, in my opinion. A lot of people complain about it, and I've read all the comments on the news that with the withdrawal problems over at Mt. Gox, but I'm not sure why, but I'm pretty sure that it seemed like they kind of almost knew that there'd be a sell-off, kind of. But again, I've been telling everybody, and maybe people have been watching my videos, and that's maybe why, but I'm just looking at the chart. All right, that's all I'm doing. I'm analyzing the chart, and that's what the chart tells me, and what can I say? If somebody else wants to do a chart, or you do your own charts, and if you say something else, do something else. But I'm gonna let's take a look at Bitstamp. Oop. Oh, I made a mistake. Instead of doing that, it's all right. I'll fix that chart. Okay, so let's take a look at Bitstamp, and now that we got it's, you got a lot of stuff going on. It's no longer these $200 movements. Look at the price range here. You have to take into account some of this moving, and this whole thing into account now. So I gotten rid of some of the lines here, and I made some new ones. And this is, of course, this one. This one was the resistance to this particular chart. But if you look at it in particular, as I match it up like Mt. Gox, this hard resistant line, it never hit up that high, and the difference between the price of what it is and what it should have been is about $120. So it should have, the price action should have really hit that hard resistance before going down. As you see, this one is going down, not as much, but then again, it never went up as high as Mt. Gox. That's the problem. So this when I look at this, technically this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It never touched, it just kind of fell, So as I'm looking here on Bitstamp, I made another line, and I said, well, if this and this works to have basically a hard resistance here, and you'll notice these things always go in some kind of triangle, and they bounce around within triangle, and then they break out or break down, just like I mentioned here. And so this would be another support here as I draw the line up here, and there you go. Bitstamp has a lot more to go down before it hits this support. It has to go down to 600. So it should drop almost another 100, 120 before any support should, technically, on a technical chart analysis. But you know what? This is not science. All right. But this is for your information on how I would see a chart. Hopefully this is helping you. So let's look at the same thing here on BitC. And BitC is different. If you look at the chart analysis of when I draw these two lines, when I draw this lines here between these 2 points, and you'll see that BitC never hit that line, just like Bitstamp. But the difference in price is almost 100. So when this drops and it'll hit this the support line here, it doesn't have that much far to go to hit the support line. All right. Whereas Bitstamp, it has a long more way to go. Let me see what the price is. Okay, BitC should be at 700. Okay, on a technical chart level, and then Bitstamp should be at 600. I mean, it should hit 600 before it bounces up. So it still has a ways to go. On a technical chart level anyway. Doesn't mean that it will. Again, this is not science. And then let me show you the Mt. Gox chart, okay, that I've been revising here. So as the price moves, I've been revising. I'm always revising this. But if you look here, it hits the hard resistance line, right? It even tries to break out. Okay, so when I look at this chart of Mt. Gox, this chart makes way more sense on a technical chart level than it does on the other charts. So Mt. Gox moves and definitely hits and actually tests this resistance on a downtrending channel here, and it couldn't do it, and so it broke down just like it should. And by the way, there's a lot of news in here during that time of, again, Mt. Gox having withdrawal issues, and it could be just, maybe they knew something, maybe they didn't, I don't know. Anyways, hopefully that'll be the end of that. And then look at I drew some lines in here, of course, where this line comes from, these 2 points, and coming out, and it did stop and bounce around in there, but I did warn that it might break through all that in a violent way. But as I make a support line, see, Mt. Gox, in my opinion, it's a trader's platform, and if you know anything about trading and chart analysis, it's so strange. It seems like it's all BS, right? It's all BS on how to read charts, but if you've been watching my episodes, and I've been putting quite a few videos out there for everyone to see, and like I said, keep watching the videos or go back to my beginning, start from Bitcoin Trade 01 and work your way up to now. I mean, you're gonna see everything. There's nothing for me to hide here. This knowledge is available to any investor. So, you're seeing maybe I'm seeing another thing here is, this is a big channel right here, an uptrending channel. Often these support lines become resistant lines up in a channel. So I know this is kind of big, but so was this. This was kind of big as well. So here we are going into another triangle. So what you realize when you start trading and you start understanding chart analysis is it's just one triangle after another triangle after another triangle. And you realize the whole, trading is nothing but triangles. Anyways, so this is Mt. Gox, and I put that line there thinking that maybe that's a support line, but maybe not. I may have to get rid of this line and redraw or do this all over again. But you see where it's, hopefully it'll stop right around here at this price, and let's see what it comes out to be. And the nice thing is it's an uptrending, so pretty darn close to where it is. Where's that 135? It did drop to 130 something. So 120, 126. But the thing about this is that it's pretty darn close as is, and also this is an uptrend line. So even if it didn't hit, give it enough time, it'd probably just wiggle around here, and then as the uptrending line. Remember, it's uptrending, so it will eventually hit, and maybe we'll get a bounce up on this uptrend line. Unless it breaks down again, then we'll have much further to go. So, but if you look at the price, and I did put a buy in order somewhere right around here somewhere. So I did mention that this would be a great stop right here. I felt these stops like support. The support price level here was a little too weak. It's been breaking. I felt that these were not valid support stops, but right around here, around this price, look at that. It just, look at the coincidence of where this price lies, or where this support line, this support line, and this price. Look at the coincidence. I mean, is it coincidence that it's going to probably stop right around here somewhere, because there's a support line on an uptrending channel. Here's the two lines that show an uptrending channel, and then also the last low before this rise, right? The last low right here. And if you look at it, it's pretty darn close. And it seems like it seems chaotic. It seems like there's no method to this crazy madness, but after a while you start trading, and I'll tell you people right now, when you start trading and you start seeing patterns and seeing things and understanding price action, this becomes highly addictive. I could see why people on Wall Street can do something like this all the time. With Bitcoin, you can do this. Anybody can do this, and the nice thing is, like I said, I hope they can start releasing Bitcoins, because you can actually use this to hedge against real world transactions. Okay, this can also, and I'm gonna maybe incorporate a little bit of insurance into this concept, or hedging your position. Eventually, what you can do is this Bitcoin can be a collateral against something that you purchase in the real world, theoretically. So you can use your purchase, your Bitcoins as a way to as a collateral on something that you could either get a loan or a purchase on. I don't know how that would work, but here's the thing about it, is if the price of Bitcoin goes up, so the collateral is X amount of Bitcoins. And interesting things, I mean, if banks want to get on this, here's a great way to do it. Now, if you got to play fair, and you got to be honest, okay? But someone can come to you with a device, or maybe you can actually have an escrow account holding those Bitcoins. Now, if someone came up to you with a loan, requesting a loan, and using Bitcoins as collateral, a couple things can happen here. If the price goes up, the loan value is whatever the face value of the loan is, right? So the loan is, $1 million. Well, that's the value of the loan is 1 million. Now the price of Bitcoin went up. All right. Guess what? Guess what? Well, you could probably, for whatever reason, the person doesn't pay or whatever, you can, use that Bitcoin to cover your loans. Well, the banks, anyway. Or if you want to be the bank, if you don't want to, you don't have to deal with the bank. If you have that much money, you could have someone basically either sell, or you can use their Bitcoin as collateral. All right. So it's basically an insurance. So if the guy runs off with your money, you got his Bitcoins. Basically, you bought his Bitcoins for whatever the amount. But the beautiful thing is, if he pays you back with interest, I mean, you're making money, right? Now, I don't know how legal that is, but I mean, I'm just talking in theory here. But the other flip side is, okay, the value goes down, right? For the person who borrowed, a couple things. This is things that you would do anyway. Whatever assets they have, you can take, and then whatever is left over is something that you can, as far as the Bitcoin is collateral, you can try to sell off. Now that's if anybody defaults. Here's the beautiful thing: if the borrower doesn't default, all right, and actually pays off the loan despite the collateral being almost, going down in value, not being worth the loan, I mean, you still made out. The banks made out. The person who needed to borrow the money got the money, just because the value of the Bitcoin that person used as collateral was good enough for the loan. And since the loan that you were given, you eventually paid off, it worked out for everybody. So what I'm saying is, if for example, I'll just give an example. If I chose to take this and say this is worth X amount, I like to maybe borrow money. So the reason why someone would borrow money is basically they don't want to take on the risk. So, but whatever reason, Bitcoins cannot be used because you need some legal tender, unless someone's willing to accept the Bitcoins. In another case, if that's the case, you don't even need money. You just use the Bitcoin as collateral, right? And then you could make a promise to pay back the value of a Bitcoin when you took on that loan, I guess. So there's a lot of ways that you could play around with this idea. That would be intermittent. This would be some kind of, I guess, hybrid of both a debt and credit situation. Kind of, I would say, hedging or insurance, one or the other. So there could be something there for that, because I know there's a lot of people are complaining about no insurance market, to finance all this. Well, the Bitcoin can be used as insurance, theoretically, maybe. I'm not sure, but I mean, I'm just opening ideas to this financial. This is a financial instrument, so I mean, anything that's been financialized, you can use this for that purpose. And I think it's even better because it's already paid. There's money right there. So, anyways, so Mt. Gox, all right, Mt. Gox is basically, there's a support right there, in my opinion. There's a real hard support, and if you see this right here, this is a line I made a long time ago, but I'm starting to see now that this had to go down in order to go back up. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So I guess we had to find out where the support line would be, which I've determined this is it right here. And then I'm looking at this and I'm seeing a channel starting to form here. So it had to go down because it was overpriced probably, you see, if you look at it now, and then it's gone down and it's hit that support. So Mt. Gox makes a lot of sense to me on a technical chart analysis, and that's probably where I'm hoping we'll tell. Time will tell. It's either going to stay here and then work its way around and bounce up more again, as you see the triangle, another triangle forming. So we'll see what happens. And I incorporated my expenditures of Bitcoin. I incorporated repurchase of my Bitcoin on that expenditure, covering my position. I've already covered my position, and what I've done is, no matter what, I'm always going to have an X amount of Bitcoins in here because that's what I've invested in there, no matter what. All I'm doing is replacing it. The ones I expended, I will rebuy back in and put into add on to my Bitcoin trade. So there's always a minimum amount of Bitcoin, and I'll always have US dollars in here. But the whole point is buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. So you can incorporate a purchasing strategy in the real world with your Bitcoin trade. So let's take a look at the other chart analysis. The other charts, I should say. And if you look at this, Bitstamp has a long way. Has more ways to go than Mt. Gox as far as a support, because I don't see anything else to really say this is supported. It needs to go down more. It needs to go down this much more, in my opinion, because I don't see any other reason on a technical level that this would stop right there. So I don't know, but BitC is pretty close to already stopping right there, and so we'll see if it stops. It may just, this is the sell-off, right? It may just slowly work its way down, and then as this moves up, it may go sideways, and then as this moves up, it'll finally touch and bounce up. So we'll see what happens. So this is my chart analysis here. Hopefully this was helpful for everybody. As the price action moves, it actually will reveal the trend and a channel. Unfortunately, you have to stay on top of this. If you never traded before, I would say go do some research, understanding the different techniques and channels and lines that you can do, and I haven't even gotten to the indicators. Let me see. I think there's a little thing in here for, well, there you go, the tools. Yeah, like draw, like all these other tools, and then, well, this one doesn't have it, but there's all these other things. I mean, there may be some other software or chart. They have oscillators and all this other weird stuff, but right now, I'm telling you, you don't really need that much. You just need to understand how a trader thinks and how a trader, someone who trades, thinks, and how to approach your I guess your buy and sell signals is what I can say. So anyways, that concludes this episode. I'll end it with Mt. Gox, because when I look at Mt. Gox and I see the price move, and based on everything it's done, it's more of a, it's all technical analysis on Mt. Gox. And the prices, let me see here. It's gotten closer. They're closer, but as far as a chart analysis, Bitstamp is not even correct. BitC is more correct than Bitstamp. Mt. Gox, I'm telling you, I just feel that Mt. Gox is more in line with people who trade, basically real people who really trade. both at the index and in the real world. So, and it's still higher. It's dropped down a lot more. So I'm hoping there's a lot more Bitcoins here available. I don't know if there was a shortage of Bitcoins here, and that's why they had to put a freeze on the withdrawals. But now that there's plenty of Bitcoins being dumped here, everyone looks like sold off. Another theory is, you know, with all the seizures over at Mt. Gox, maybe it was the FBI selling off the Bitcoins here. After all, it is higher in price. Just a theory, maybe not. Anyways, there you go. Like, dislike. Let me see, like, dislike. Oh yeah, leave a comment or even a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye now.